With only a week left until the 2024 Paris Olympics begins, teams around the world are gearing up and making last-minute changes until they travel to France. On July 20th, Team USA and South Sudan faced off in the O2 Arena in London. Team USA had just come off of 3 straight wins against Serbia, Canada, and Australia. South Sudan, on the other hand, came out as a team that no one expected much from, but they have surprised everybody, coming fresh off of victories against Portugal and Great Britain, with their only loss in the games leading up the Olympics being against Argentina. Without Kevin Durant once again, the U.S. starting lineup consisted of Steph Curry, Jrue Holiday, Devin Booker, LeBron, and Joel Embiid. Embiid won the tip-off, and Team USA got off to a hot start with a slam dunk from LeBron James. LeBron was also dishing out some dimes, like this one to Jrue Holiday. They went up 8-0 within the first 2.5 minutes, and it seemed like Team USA would be able to handle this South Sudan team easily, and that it would just be another tune-up game as they look forward to the group stage. Once South Sudan finally scored, LeBron came right back with a nasty dunk, leading to the first timeout of the game. But when South Sudan got knocked down, they came right back up, with the help of former college and NBA players. Wenyen Gabriel, former NBA player, showed his skill with a couple of threes and some tough defense against Joel Embiid. After a few possessions without a score, Team USA switched it up, bringing in a full new group of players, and South Sudan kept putting the pressure on them. After a missed 3, Deng of South Sudan followed through and sunk one, tying up the game for the first time. Immediately following this, Deng took the ball down and led a fast break, putting South Sudan up 18-16 with a Kaman Maluwach dunk. The U.S. looked a little disoriented, as if they were expecting an easy game, as their play looked sloppy while South Sudan looked composed, until some great defense by the U.S. led to a Bam Adebayo dunk, which tied up the game once again. But just as soon as the U.S. were able to cut the lead down, former Iowa Hawkeye Peter Jok hit a 3 to put South Sudan up 5. By the time the first quarter had ended, Team USA was able to cut the lead down to 2, as South Sudan felt good going into the breakup 26-24. To open up the second quarter, South Sudan hit a quick 3, putting them up by 5. Just a couple of possessions later, Nouni Omat for South Sudan hit a 3 to put them up 8, putting the U.S. in a tough hole. The U.S. could not seem to catch up with the unselfishness of South Sudan, and they could not get past the feisty defense of the South Sudanese. Steve Kerr had had enough. Unfortunately, they were unsuccessful in making a comeback as they let South Sudan score 7 more points while the U.S. stayed scoreless, making the deep hole even deeper. The tough defense of the Sudanese and the excellent capitalization of that defense is what made them so hard to stop. Sudan finished off the run with this impressive drive and won by Carlik Jones. Joel Embiid was the one to snap the U.S. funk. The U.S. looked frustrated because while their opponent was shooting 6-11 from 3, but they knew that no lead was too large for a comeback because of the talent and skill that they had. From there, Team USA looked like they may have woken up, or at the very least, they were getting their level of play up to that of the South Sudanese. The game went back and forth for the next couple of minutes, with the help of some tough defense from Jrue Holiday and a good job from the U.S. of drawing fouls, but South Sudan kept their confidence, as they were able to knock down shots in the mouths of the U.S. Sudan kept on punching, with shots like this from Mariel Shayok and many others. As the half came to a close, it was not as close as Team USA wanted it to be, as the score was 58-44 in South Sudan's favor. LeBron led Team USA with 12 points off of 5-8 shooting, but it was clear that the rest of the team needed to step up for the U.S. The USA knew that they would have no chance of winning if they did not make a change, so, going into the second half, they realized their intensity level needed to change, and that as long as they played tough defense and their shots were falling, they could easily come back. So the U.S. made some adjustments and came in with a fresh look of Anthony Edwards, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Bam Adebayo, and Anthony Davis to keep South Sudan from settling in again. The U.S. were able to bring the intensity early, as Davis immediately put in an easy putback layup. The next time down the floor, Jason Tatum was able to get to the rim, finishing a tough and one layup. But South Sudan showed that they brought the intensity as well when big man Omat threw down a mean dunk on Anthony Davis's head. However, the U.S. kept chipping away as they finished off a 14-4 run in the first 3 minutes and 45 seconds of the third quarter with a couple of Bam Adebayo free throws to cut the lead down to just 2 possessions. But like the first half, when the U.S. caught up, the Sudanese heated up as well when Mariel Shayok capitalized on some U.S. turnovers, hitting a couple of big threes, bringing the lead to double digits once again. The U.S. had seen enough once again and threw their original starters back out there, as LeBron immediately answered with a three-pointer, followed by a slick no-look pass to Jrue Holiday under the basket. After a couple more minutes of back-and-forth action, LeBron was at it again with an and-one slam on a fast break following a Jrue Holiday steal, and the deficit was only 5 points once again. From there, it was all Team USA as Team USA went on a 14-0 run, which was thanks to a Devin Booker 3, immediately followed by a deep bomb from Steph Curry as the crowd chanted USA, USA, USA. Joel Embiid followed his own missed layup to put them up 81-76 at the end of the quarter. The US had the momentum and felt confident, but there were still 10 minutes of game left and Sudan had already come back from a deficit. The fourth quarter started off very back and forth, with neither team able to go on a substantial run, but you could still feel the energy in the arena after the third quarter. Peter Jok was able to sink a three, but it was immediately followed by an Embiid turnaround jumper. Wenyen Gabriel then went on to hit a three, but even that was followed by a LeBron three to keep the lead in Team USA's favor. South Sudanese guard Carlik Jones made it extremely hard for the US to pull away, as he achieved a triple-double with 6 minutes left, cutting the US lead down to 4. South Sudan was breathing down Team USA's neck as Carlik Jones hit another tough bucket to cut the lead down to just 1 point. But right as they got close, Anthony Davis finished an easy basket to put the US up by 3 points once more. At this point, South Sudan was breathing down the neck of Team USA, and they knew it, so the US realized that they needed to focus on defense, and that if they did that well, then they could close out the game. For the next couple of minutes, no points were scored until Jason Tatum and Carlik Jones traded buckets, making the score 95-92. Team USA's defense was tough, and South Sudan had no answers for it, as they went up 99-92 with an Anthony Davis and one, which he unfortunately failed to convert. On the other end, South Sudan was unable to score until Mariel Shayok hit his 6th three of the night, cutting it to only a 4-point game. The US was able to keep the lead until the last minute of the game when Charlotte Hornet JT Thor hit a tough fast break three with only 20 seconds left, putting South Sudan up 199. With one possession left, Team USA needed a bucket to win and to keep their undefeated record on the year. Coming out of a timeout, their 5 on the floor were Steph Curry, LeBron James, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, and Anthony Edwards. With 10 seconds left, LeBron James drove to the layup and finished it, putting the US back up on top 101-100. After the US quickly scored, South Sudan had one last opportunity to upset the US. Carlik Jones brought the ball up and put up a floater. The shot hit the backboard and bounced out, and with 2 seconds left, South Sudan just could not get a putback off, as the US held them off to win by 1 point. This game showed the world that South Sudan was a force, and it also showed the world that the US was vulnerable. While they were still the team to beat, they were sloppy. This will definitely be a game to look back on, but if the US wants to be dominant, they have some work to do. Alright, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you thought down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the episode if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.